Scrum has its ceremonies to facilitate the changes and development of user stories needed for developing the product increment for each sprint. In order to ensure that the product is following the product roadmap closely, they conduct release planning sessions. In this meeting, high-level plans for project releases are made by making a guideline for which features should be developed for certain release dates. User stories that are related to the scheduled features are then identified, to be further planned and refined in the ceremonies that follow. Another ceremony is the product backlog refinement. This ceremony is for ensuring that user stories, especially those required for the upcoming release, are ready. Here the Scrum team clarifies the acceptance criteria, estimates user story sizes, and if necessary, breaks down user stories further. During sprint planning, the product owner and development team decide together which user stories to scope for the sprint. The product owner prioritizes the user stories, and the development team will commit to the user stories that they will develop during the sprint. Acceptance criteria and user story sizes are still subject to be redefined and renegotiated, since there are other factors to consider, such as capacity for the upcoming sprint and feedback from the recent sprint review. The daily Scrum is another ceremony in Scrum. Throughout the sprint, the Scrum team will convene to review together how they are progressing with finishing tasks and the committed user stories. They discuss on a daily basis what was done, what is planned to be done, and what the impediments are to completing the user stories. When the sprint is over, the Scrum team presents the product increments to the customers and other stakeholders during the sprint review. This is where the product owner informs everyone on which user stories have been done and which are still open. From this meeting, feedback given can be used to create more user stories to be added to the product backlog and planned for implementation during release planning and sprint planning. The last ceremony that we will discuss is the sprint retrospective. User stories are not the main artifacts being used in the retrospective. This is the best time for the Scrum team to reassess and re-strategize on ensuring that they commit to finishing the user stories in scope for future sprints.